I'm driving, so my apologies for that. But I just want to grab this idea. So I was just listening to a teacher who I really appreciate, who teaches a lot about narcissism, which I'm not necessarily a person who is into diagnosing myself or other people, but there are some helpful points in her teachings. And her name's Lisa A. Romano. She was talking about childhood experiences and how they influence our sense of self-worth, which influences the degree to which we operate around the need for approval. Okay, and the need for approval is something that is so often at the base of a lot of our nervous system responses, because it relates to that sense of survival that's connected to being allowed to belong to the group or stay in the group. And that's often what's threatened when we're little children, because our survival really is threatened by someone not approving of us. And then that can last into adulthood, and our nervous system continues to tell us when someone disapproves of us that our survival is at stake, and that can lead to all sorts of reactionary behaviors. So the point that really stuck out to me was that inconsistent validation. So a parent who is sometimes like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, well done, I'm gonna take you to ice cream, let me give you a hug, I'm so proud of you, and then sometimes ignores us, or is like, what the hell is wrong with you, or is like, I'm so disappointed in you, or just like gives us a irritated glance, right? That inconsistent validation that we can't really predict. Like, we could do the same behavior and sometimes it gets praised and sometimes it doesn't. That is more difficult for that child, or more, it has more of an impact on how that child is developing their self-worth than consistent invalidation. And this was something that as a little child, I was constantly like, just tell me I'm bad. Just tell me you hate me. Just hit me so that I can know that it's true what I'm feeling, that you don't love me, because it feels like you don't love me, and then sometimes you say that you love me, and that is like too much of a mind fuck. Sorry, I know that this lighting is terrible. So that feels like really validating, that like, of course I would have that like wanting to just think that everybody hates me, because it's more clear. It's less confusing than if I'm following the rules and sometimes I get rewarded for it and sometimes I get in trouble for it, because that just, it felt so like I was crazy. And so, okay, let's say we know this about our childhood, or we realize this about ourselves and our inner child. What can we do now with that? Okay, so what we can offer ourselves now and offer that inner child now is consistent validation, right? This like thing that they say, that they teach to therapists, which is the unconditional regard, right? So it's like, how do we get to slowly undo this programming around like, sometimes you're bad and sometimes you're good, and start to open up to, you can't be bad, okay? And this really depends on questioning the belief that you can, that like, are you, is your self-worth, is your like goodness, your inherent goodness determined, or is it, oh no, I'm gonna forget the word that she used. Is it determined, or is it, I can't remember the word, but it's something like absolute. Is it something you're born with, inherent, or is it something that is determined or earned? Okay, if we believe that our worth or our value is determined or earned, then we're going to constantly be waiting for that to be shown to us. And it's never going to be, right? Because you could get valedictorian, you could get top of your class, you could get summa cum laude, you could get the best partner, you could get the perfect amount of children, you could get the highest CEO job, you could get whatever they call it, the Emmy, the Tony, the Grammy, the Oscar. And you could still question, like, is it going to be like, what next? What do I have to earn next? So if we can offer ourselves the opportunity to see that it is inherent, not determined, then we can begin to practice questioning that voice that says you are, you have to keep trying for this approval, and offer to that, this form of self-inquiry of like, is that true? And bring ourselves back to, is it possible that I was born with this worth and that I can be the one now to reparent, to offer that consistent validation, to say, hey, it looks like this didn't go the way you hoped it would, and I love you and approve of you always. And just offering ourselves that, it's not going to, that part of you that wants the approval, that questions if you're approved of, if you're okay, is always going to be there. And you can be the one to reassure it. Yeah. So I just thought that was really powerful, thinking about the inconsistent validation piece and how we can begin to reparent that through consistent validation of those parts of ourselves. Okay, love you.